Welcome to all in a lecture series of computer networks in association with APJ Abdul Kalam Technical University, Lucknow. I am Pawan Kumar Pal, Assistant Professor, PSIT Kanpur. Today I will discuss about the concepts and technique related to the security of the data that we have to transmit from one place to another place through networks. Once we prepare data for the transmission, we also include measures related to the security of the data so that it will be transmitted in a secured manner to the recipient upon our network. For this, we have one of the function of presentation layer called as encryption to make our data secure. So in this session, I will explain the concepts related to the encryption that comes under the cryptography. Along with this, I will also discuss about the various cryptographic techniques related to the encryption and to make secure our data. To transmit our data securely upon a network, we need to enable security to our computers connected to a network, to the networks itself, and also during the transmission of the data. The computer security is a generic name for the collection of tools designed to protect data and to thwart the hackers. Network security is a measure to protect data during their transmission. Internet security is a measure to protect data during their transmission over a collection of interconnected networks. In this slide, I will discuss about the various aspects of security according to ITU-T X.800 security architecture for OSI security architecture defines a systematic way of defining and providing the security requirements. Let us consider three aspects of information security defined in this architecture. The security attack. It is any action that compromises the security of information. Security mechanism. These are the features designed to detect, prevent, or recover from a security attack. And the third one, that is security service. It enhances security of the data processing system and information transfer. In this slide, I will discuss about the various types of security attacks that can violate the security of a data. As I have defined, any action that compromises the security of the information owned by an organization is called as an attack. Information security is about how to prevent attacks or, failing that, to detect attacks on information-based systems. Often, threats and attacks are used to mean the same things. We have a wide range of the attacks. Those can be more classified in a generic manner in an active attack and a passive attack. Passive attacks are a type of attacks which attempt to learn or make use of information from the system, but does not affect the system resources by eavesdropping on or monitoring of transmission of the data. Plus, they obtains the message contents or they monitors the traffic flows. They are difficult to detect because they do not have any involvement or any alteration performed onto the data. As you can see in a diagram, there is one sender named as Bob sends messages to the receiver who is named as Alice here through the internet. There is one another person upon a network, Dirth, who is continuously reading the contents of the messages from Bob to Alice, and he is trying to get information by the analysis of that content that he have read and he have identified from the messages that have been transmitted from Bob to Alice. Active attacks are the types of attacks which attempts to alter the system resources or they affect the operations of the system by the modification of the system streams to masquerade one of the entity as some other. That means we are predicting that we are the actual one upon a network who is transmitting the data. Along with this, replay previous messages, modify the messages in transmission, and denial of the services. As in a diagram, you can see the messages, those are transmitted by Bob to Alice, are being captured by the Dirth upon a network, and he is replaying those messages by modifying them or by making certain changes on those messages. And along with that, he can pretend as he is a Bob, not a Dirth, and Alice will think that these messages are coming from the Bob itself, but actually those messages were transmitted by the Death. So this is a type of active attack in which certain modification is involved into the messages, certain alteration is performed onto the messages. In this slide, I will try to explain the security services in more detail, as security services are the things that enhances the security of the data processing systems and information transfer of an organization. They are intended to counter security attacks by using one or more security mechanisms. Often, they replicate functions normally associated with physical documents, which, for example, have signatures, dates, need protections from disclosure, tampering, or destruction, be notarized or witnessed, be recorded or licensed. The different security services, those are available in a computer security, are classified into this diagram. Those are named as data confidentiality, data integrity, data authentication, non-repudiation, and access control. One by one, I will explain all of them. Authentication is the assurance that the communicating entity is the one who he is claiming. Access control, it is the prevention of the unauthorized use of resources. Data confidentiality provides protection of data from unauthorized disclosure. Data integrity is the assurance that data received is as sent by an authorized entity. And non-repudiation, it is a protection against denial by one of the parties in a communication, that I have not sent the message or I have not received the message. Security mechanisms are the features designed to detect, prevent, or recover from the security attacks. No single mechanism that will support all services required. Not a single mechanism can employ all the security services required for any system that we call a secured system. All the security mechanisms have been developed under the one technique that is called as a cryptographic techniques. These cryptographic techniques will be employed to make the security mechanism. Those will provide the security services to prevent from different types of security attacks. The security mechanism can be divided into two categories: specific security. Those are encipherment, digital signatures, access control, data integrity, authentication exchange, traffic padding, routing control, and notarization. And the another one are pervasive security mechanisms such as trusted functionality, security labels, event detection, security audit trails, and security recovery. The following diagram shows all the security mechanisms through which we provide various security services to any organizations. As you can see, we have encipherment, data integrity, digital signature, authentication exchange, traffic padding, routing control, notarization, and access control. These were discussed in a previous slide in a category of specific security mechanism and pervasive security mechanism. The given table shows the relationship between security service and security mechanism. As we can see, the data confidentiality can be achieved by encipherment and routing control. Data integrity can be achieved by encipherment, digital signatures, and data integrity. To provide the authentication, we require encipherment, digital signature, and authentication exchange mechanisms. For non-repudiation service, digital signatures are required, data integrity and data notarization is required. For access control, there are certain access control mechanisms through which we can implement the access control services for any organization. So I have explained various security mechanisms required for enabling different security services to prevent from different security attacks into any secured system. Here in this slide, I will discuss with you all about the model for network security. Any model is having certain components as defined in a diagram also, such as sender, who sends the message, receiver, who receives the message, the information that we need to transfer from one place to another place. The communication channel, it is a medium through which we transmit our message, and the keys required for security transformations or encryptions for securely transmission of the data through the channel. We have insecure communication channel, then there will be a presence of opponents also upon a network. Along with this, the keys required for the security transformations can be shared among sender and the recipient of the message with the help of certain trusted third parties, which are responsible for the sharing of that key securely among sender and receiver of that particular message upon a network. Using this model requires us to design a suitable algorithm for security transformations, generate the secret informations called as keys used by the algorithms, develop a methods to distribute and share the secret information. Along with this, specify a protocol enabling the principals to use the transformations and secret informations for a security service. Some of the basic terminologies required for cryptographic techniques are described here. Plain text, it is the original message that we want to transfer from one place to another place through our network. Ciphertext is a coded message that is achieved by applying the encryption on a plain text. Cipher, it is the algorithm for transforming plain text to a ciphertext. Key, it is the information used in cipher known only to sender or a receiver. Encipher or a encryption, that is the process of converting plain text into a ciphertext. Decipher means decryption, that is the process of recovering plain text from the ciphertext. Cryptography, it is a study of encryption principles and methods. Cryptanalysis or code breaking, it is a study of principles and methods of deciphering ciphertext without knowing its key. The cryptology, it is a field of both cryptography and cryptanalysis. In a cryptology, we study about the cryptography as well as about the cryptanalysis. Here, I will discuss about the cryptography, the basic definition of a cryptography, the types of cryptography, how various concepts and techniques of cryptography are being divided into different reasons. Okay, so cryptography is what? A cryptography is a word with Greek origin, means secret writing. However, we use the term to refer to the science and art of transforming messages to make them secure and immune to attack. Cryptographic systems are generally classified along three independent dimensions according to type of operations used for transforming plain text to a ciphertext. All the encryption algorithms are based on two general principles. Number one is substitution, in which each element in the plain text is mapped into another element. Second one is transposition, in which element in the plain text are rearranged. Okay, we will shuffle the locations of the characters or alphabets available into the plain text. Then another dimension of cryptography is the number of keys used. According to the number of keys used, the basically cryptography is being divided into two types. Number one is symmetric key cryptography and asymmetric key cryptography. In a symmetric key cryptography, we use the same key or a single key for the purpose of encryption and the decryption of a message. Whereas in a asymmetric key cryptography, we use different keys for encryption and decryption purpose. It is also called as a public key encryption. Then another way in which the plain text is processed, according to that, we can classify the algorithms. Number one is block cipher algorithms. The block cipher algorithms are the algorithms in which we processes the input and blocks of elements at a time, producing output blocks for each input block. In a stream cipher, we processes the input elements continuously, producing output elements once at a time as it goes along with this. Just like that, With this description, you can identify the basic classification of various cryptography techniques available for the security of the data. Here, I will discuss with you all about symmetric key encryption, that is also called as a conventional encryption, private key encryption, or a single key encryption. In this method of encryption, the sender and the receiver shares a common key for the purpose of encrypting a data and decrypting a data. Encryption algorithms are used to find out the ciphertext from the plain text, and decryption algorithms are using the same key for finding the plain text from that ciphertext that he have received through the communication. In a public key cryptography or a asymmetric key cryptography, we use two types of the keys, public key and a private key. Public key, which may be known by anybody and can be used to encrypt the messages and verify the signatures. A private key, known only to the recipient and used to decrypt the messages and for the signatures. It is also known as asymmetric because those who encrypt the messages or verify the signatures cannot decrypt the messages or create the signatures. This diagram shows the public key crypto system where we are trying to maintain the authentication and confidentiality of a message. In the authentication and confidentiality, here first we are encrypting our data with the help of private key of a sender, and then we are encrypting the message with the help of public key of the receiver. Then when this message will be received by the receiver, he will apply his private key for decrypting the message, and then he will use a public key of a sender to check the authentication of a sender. Just like that, any public key crypto system can be designed and can be implemented. Here, some points related to the symmetric and asymmetric cryptographic techniques are defined with the help of certain example. In a symmetric cryptography, for example, Alice is a sender and Bob is a receiver. So Alice and Bob are agree on a crypto system where Alice and Bob are agree on a certain key in a symmetric cryptography. Alice takes her plain text message and encrypts it using a encryption algorithm and that key. This creates a ciphertext message. Alice sends the ciphertext message to a Bob. Bob then decrypts the ciphertext with the same algorithm and the key and reads it. And finally, he gets the plain text that have been sent by the Alice. In asymmetric cryptography, Alice and Bob agrees on a public key crypto system where everyone is having their own a pair of own public key and private key. Bob sends Alice his public key. Alice encrypts her message using Bob's public key and sends it to the Bob. Then Bob decrypts Alice's message using his private key. So this is a structure of asymmetric key cryptography. So with the help of this example, I have tried to explain you about all the things related to the symmetric key cryptography and asymmetric key cryptography. Thank you very much. Through all these discussions, I explained the basic concepts related to the security, model of network security, basic terminologies of cryptography and symmetric encryption and asymmetric key encryption. In the next part, I will discuss about various methods and algorithms under symmetric key encryption.